everybody. How you doing? I'm gonna sit up there, put this up here for some advertisement. Students of the week: Isaiah Gustav, sociology; Carter Startmeyer, ethnic studies; last week, Gage Goldberg, real estate; Cole Mathis, exploratory studies; 2 weeks ago, Malachi Murphy, integrative physiology. I started to say psychology, but that don't make sense. Physiology. And Zach Owen, sociology. Amen. Alamo Bowl, CU's 31st bowl game, but just our third in the last 17 seasons, which is a wow. This is our fourth trip to the Alamo Bowl, which is awesome. Did a press conference for them last week. It was phenomenal. I'm thankful that we're chosen for the Alamo Bowl. I don't take this kind of stuff for granted, you know. It's a blessing, and we're in Texas, where it all started for me, coaching-wise, and to go to a bowl there is phenomenal. 9 wins, 7 conference wins. We had just second 9-win season in the last 22 seasons. 7 conference wins for the 8th time in CU history. Travis Hunter, he won everything but the Thorpe. That's what he said. I ain't say that. It's right here. He won everything but the darn Thorpe. Highest decorated non-quarterback in history. He could wind up as the most decorated player in a single season in college football history. The first team All-American at multiple positions. That is crazy to me. I mean, that is absurd. That is unbelievable. Shurmur won the Johnny Unitas Award, All-American Award, responsible for 82% of our offense. There's highest in FBS in the last 25 years, and still didn't get invited to the Heisman. Oh, I'm sorry. He didn't say that. That was me. Only quarterback this season, top 5 completion percentage, quarterback rating, passing yards, touchdowns, and completions per game. 17 Buffs earned some mention of all Big 12 so far, which is wonderful. Glad to be back to playing football. Glad to be back. We never start recruiting, so I haven't left doing that. We have some wonderful, phenomenal young men up here that we want to join this magnificent team. I think we've secured commitments from darn near everybody. They probably had not committed yet, but I know what I know. And they're going to help us in tremendous positions, and the quality of the young men we're getting are phenomenal. So I'm proud of the staff, the recruiting staff, Coach Ray and so forth, the coaching staff, and everybody's involved, and especially people in the city, because when these kids go out, they know what they're here for, and our Buff Nation is welcoming them with open arms, and it's a phenomenal thing. It really is. We're playing against a wonderful historical school, which offers a coach that I'm fond of, a man of God, which I adore. To flip it and turn it around and accomplish what they've accomplished this season is phenomenal, but I would expect that because that's who he is and that's the way he coaches. I consider him a friend. Can't wait to see him there. You know, it's a little more relaxed until we get close to game day. Then I start being ignorant as I am. But he's a good guy, has a great team, and I adore him. So I'm happy to be playing against this wonderful university. Let's go.
Nikki, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
How you doing?
Nikki Edwards, U Sports Report. When we talked to Travis over the weekend, he was asked, when did you feel like you could secure the Heisman? You were in contention for the Heisman. And he said the Baylor game. As you're watching him, either throughout his career or throughout this season, when was one moment you were like, yeah, he can win the Heisman?
When I saw him practice his first day at Jackson State. That's when he went out there at receiver and did his thing, then went from playing receiver to defensive back and shut it down. I knew right then it was something special. It's one thing to watch highlights of a young man in high school, but it's another thing to see it in person. And when you know the game and when you know athleticism and when you know what I know and you come from where I come from, you know when you see something that's abnormal. And this kid from day one has been abnormal with a appetite for an appetite to dominate. He never relinquished that. He was banged up the first year over there, banged up a little bit the first year over here, but he just, once he's Travis, man. Ain't nobody like him. I don't think we'll ever see that in quite some time. I don't think we'll see it because most of our coaches in college football won't allow it because they can't fathom it. They can't fathom a kid that's able to do that. And you're gonna have they gotta do roster management of this guy crying, and you paying him a handsome salary in a collective or whatever they want to call it, NIL, which is not. It's collective. They're not gonna allow it. I'll allow it because that's who he is. That's what he is. Why would I want to change a guy that gracefully selected us to coach him, and I knew what he had in him, and I've done it myself at the highest level. So I could see through the bushes in the fog, in the inner cities, in the suburbs. I could see through all that and understand what that young man is. And I allowed him to be unapologetically who he is.
Rylan Scholes from Ralph Report. You talked a bit about Coach Satake in your opening statement.
Yeah.
But there's some really explosive players on that BYU team. What do you see when you watch them on tape, and what do you guys have to prepare for?
Consistent team that can run the ball, they can throw the ball. They defend well. Discipline. I see a lot of discipline, a lot of young men that may not receive some of the accolades that they deserve, but they work their butts off and they do a wonderful job. So trust me, ain't nobody taking them light. They're not sneaking up on us. We know what they're coming with.
Hi, Coach. Hope you are well. Adam Ostertiger,
Yes, sir. Thank you,
24/7
Adam.
Sports. Getting a chance to talk to you since the high school signing period.
Yes, sir.
So I wanted to ask you about Julian Lewis. Obviously, you guys made him a priority quarterback early in that class.
Mm-hmm.
What was it about him that very early on in your evaluations with quarterbacks made him stand above the other guys?
I think smart coaches at this level understand what has worked for them, and they try their best to replicate that. Shador's worked really well for us. He has a wonderful father in his life. Father has always been there. Father that knows the game, and the father that's hands-on. I saw a lot of similarities in the way Julian's life has been structured. Speaking to his father a multitude of times, understanding how he came up, what he wants out of life, what he wants out of the game and from the game, and what he gives to the game. Some similarities are unbelievable. So you want someone of that nature. The kid that we got from Texas in the slot that's killing everybody. Jimmy Horn. That's Jimmy Horn. That's LeJontay. So you try to find those guys that have been good to your program, and you identify them, and you just try your best to say, okay, I want the character of this, I want this and that, I want this, and I'm not giving up on. I'm not saying that I'm going to accept that foolishness for that. I'm not doing that. I want what I want, and I'm going to get it, or we'll go to the next kid. But that kid right there, man, he's everything that we desire in a quarterback. He's smart. He could make every throw. He has a pocket awareness, pocket presence. He is a darn leader, but most of all, he's a winner. People forget that category when you're looking at quarterbacks. Are they winners? We have one right now, and we got one coming in, and we got one on campus right now as well. They're winners. That's the intangible that you want. You don't want to get a guy that's got his butt kicked his whole life. What is that going to do? What is he going to say on a TV timeout to his team when he gets to a pivotal point in the game and he's always lost? I don't want that. Not at all. Not leading our team.
Hey, Coach. Pat
How you
Graham,
doing,
Associated
sir?
Press. Nice to see you. James Franklin yesterday talked about the difficulties of planning for a game and the
Who's
transfer. James Franklin of Penn State.
Okay.
And just the difficulties of navigating a game and the transfer portal. How do you, with players entering it and all that, how do you plan for a game and the transfer portal?
Well, you mean this like a bowl game?
Yeah.
Transfer portal shouldn't be no surprise to you. You know you probably gonna lose two guys you didn't expect, and you probably gonna gain several guys you didn't expect. But you gotta have a board, and you gotta do your studies. You gotta understand this is what's gonna happen. And I'm prepared for that. I know this is going to happen. So I don't think the portal has ever been a surprise to us. Not at all. Even the bowl game, it's not a surprise. Like any of our guys that wanted to get in the portal, get in the portal. You're not going to come here and practice and eat and be merry and have a Merry Christmas with us, then leave right after the game. I call that using somebody. You're not going to use us. No, I'm going to help you by all means. And I've helped several players get to other schools already, along with the staff. But you're not going to participate with us and do all that, then leave. That's not fair to some of the other teammates that want to play and deserve to play. That's not fair to them. So I don't think it's difficult to navigate around the portal. I just think the portal is surprising some of these coaches that didn't understand what it was. I understood what it was day one, don't you think? From the way we attacked it, from the way, I know we got a lot of criticism for it, but we did this in Jackson. Not only that, I did this in youth. Like when I was coaching youth football, we started with nothing, and it had to be something. We had to go get everybody at the portal, from 5-year-old kids to 12-year-old kids. That means from other teams. They had to come to our organization. In the first trial, we had 1,500 kids at the first trial. And we selected them, talked to them, made sure they fit our structure. And we have several guys on the staff that was there during that time. So we've been doing this for a long time. It just didn't start at the collegiate level. This starts in high school. We was at a private school. Where you get private school kids from? Public schools. What is that? The portal. When you're a pro, you get, 7 draft picks, right? That's high school players. Then you go hit what? Free agency, which is the portal. It's the way we approached it from day one. But I was willing to look like a fool for a period of time, and I listened to y'all, I watched you. And we understood it, but, Noah looked like a fool too when he kept saying it's going to rain, right? When it's building the ark, until that rain came. Yeah, the rain coming now. The rain is coming now for everybody, right? Yeah, we good. We're in the ark now.
Hey, Coach. Brian Alamo Bowl.
How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I have a couple for you real quick, but is there a challenge in kind of getting back into the groove of football after a couple of weeks where maybe it's been off for a lot of guys and award ceremonies, all those things?
It's really not. That depends on what type of team that you have. We have a multitude of young men that has desires to go pro. It can't be a challenge because this is last call for them. We have a bunch of young men that wants to establish themselves and beat out some of these guys that they know that we're attaining in the portal. And they want to put their footprint down going into the spring that, hey, man, this is my job. I should at least start first team. So it's very important, and we keep it important. So it's not just a bowl game where we're going to go be merry and have a Merry Christmas and exchange gifts and do all that. No, we want to go there and play buff football. And we got some guys that want to end on a great note. You think Travis want to go out there and get locked down with a Heisman at his house? You think Shurmur want to go out there and play like hot garbage when he's one of the premier guys and probably arguably the first pick of the whole draft? You think Jimmy Horn hadn't played in a couple weeks game-wise, don't want to go out there and put on? I mean, we got some wonderful young men with Chidozie. We got a lot of guys that want to ball out, and I can't wait to see them. I think we even had a fight at practice today. I don't recommend that, but I was proud of that.
So, as a follow-up to that, you mentioned Jimmy. I wanted to ask you, this break, how good was it for guys like Jimmy and Isaiah Gustive and guys like that want to get back? Do you feel like those guys are going to be back for the Alamo Bowl?
Yeah. It hurts them not to play. Jimmy, I don't know if you know it, but Jimmy snuck out there the first play of the game, the last game we had. He wasn't supposed to be on the field, but he snuck out there and got the first play in. And guess what he did? I think he put a DB on his back. So that's the Jimmy Horn. Then we realized he snuck out there. We got him off the field so he wouldn't get injured. But that's the Jimmy Horn we know and love.
Coach Leo Vera with Scope of Sports, what aspect of the game do you feel your team has improved on the most from start until where we are now?
We're just believing, overall believability that what we possess inside our locker room is good enough to win. We just got to go there and do what we are capable of doing and not have any letdowns, but to play our games. especially when we could run the football and give Shador the time that he needs to have a little more balance. It doesn't have to be 50-50. It could be 70-30. But when we run, we got to be successful with running the ball. And defensively, you know the formula: stop the run, make them throw. That's who we are.
Hey, Coach. Jack Harlow.
Jack, let me tell you something, dog. Let me tell you something. One of my guys that's a good friend of mine watches the press conferences every week, and he said he got on me because he said, I couldn't believe you didn't know, what he was saying, Jack. But you got a fan base, dog. You got a fan base. You got a fan base, man, and everybody wait for you to come in with that signature voice.
It's wild.
Yeah. So I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah. Am I following you yet?
On Twitter?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Sam, make sure you follow Jack, man.
Jack_CAR.
Jack_CAR, right?
You know
Carlo.
L-O-U-G-H.
Say?
CARLOUGH.
L-O-U-G-H. You got that, Sam? Everybody listening, you got that, right? Yeah. Don't think he don't understand how to get followers now.
We're going to blow up after this.
I got you. You can blow. Hey, blow him up, please. Everybody follow. How many followers you got right now?
Like 1,000.
You got to. Hey, let's get him to 5.
I'm not big on Twitter. I'm not a big Twitter guy. But
let's get him to $5,000 after this press conference. By the end of this day, let's get Jack to $5,000. All right. Put that out for me, Sam.
Okay.
Nearly put that out for me. At the end of the day, we need Jack at 5,000 followers. All right. Cool. All right. Let's go.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. You talked a little bit about Jimmy Horn earlier, but how big is this Alamo game for guys who are trying to, give NFL scouts one final look?
It's huge. It's huge. LeJontay, Will, who else on the offensive side of the ball? Justin. I think that's it on the offensive side, right? On the defensive side, we have several young men. Even Gant. I mean, Gant is working his butt off to try to get in the rotation because we're a little light at linebacker right now. Although JB's back. God bless JB. Dog came in my office, and I know he didn't want to go nowhere. I said, man, what is wrong with you? And sometimes these young men are just confused, and they're hearing all the outside noise, and they think that's the best thing for them. And I always tell them, no, I don't recommend you jumping into the portal unless you know you probably going to have a home. And I saw something the other day about some quarterback. Was it the Texas guy? They said he had an offer for, what, $4 or $5 million? How you get an offer and you're not in the portal? How does that work? Because we don't do that. Like, how does that work? How you get an offer when you're not in the portal? So who does that? I'm happy for the kid. When I heard that, I wanted to see if Shador had any more eligibility, so he could help old Pop out. I'm just joking. I'm sorry. What else, Jack? What else?
Yeah, I think you answered just NFL guys.
Yeah. Well, those guys it's important for them, and it's important for us to highlight them and make sure they get the reps they need to showcase their talent. But they've had an entire season, but we want to make sure they go out right. We really do.
A couple more, Jason. Go ahead. Hey, Coach. Good morning. Jason Jones, Sports Illustrated.
Yes, sir.
One of your more famous sound bites from last year, You Better Get Me Now, is where you sit today, headed to a bowl game, going to put Peggy on a plane. Recruiting seems to be going very well. Is this just the plan executed on your behalf?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This was we've been in this situation, my man. When we were at Jackson, and I think in that spring we were 4-3, and just I think the only reason was the fourth game because they forfeited. Ain't nobody want to play. So I knew it then. We didn't have what we needed to be who we wanted to be, but I knew, like, you better get me down, because when we regroup and all these kids are eligible to play in the fall, we're going to be something special, and we end up winning the SWAC. And God bless Jackson State, TC, Ashley, all those people. They won the SWAC championship. Not SWAC championship. They won the whole Celebration Bowl. So that's awesome. Awesome. I love them. I appreciate them. They've taken it to yet another level, and that was the plan all along. Back to what you were saying. This has been the plan, but we're not satisfied, and we're not done. We're still on our way. We're still going. We're still coming. Like, we're still got some things to do, some pieces of the puzzle to add. But it's much easier when you win. It's much easier. And then when we look at the games that we didn't come out on top, we got our butts kicked in Nebraska. We'll give them that. No, I ain't giving them nothing. They took it. but the other two we had chances to win. We laid down like never before in Kansas, and we got our butts kicked against Kansas State, I believe, because we had, I think, a plethora of receivers go down, right? And then we had the Heisman Trophy winner go down as well that game. So that disarmed us quite a bit. That's why you got to have depth, and that's something that we're trying to attain right now. A great question, my man.
Scott, go ahead. Hey, Coach, Scott Proctor at DMVR. How are you feeling?
Good, sir. Thank you. You really don't care. You just wanted to ask because he asked how I was feeling.
No,
you really don't care.
No.
When you looked at me, you didn't really look like you cared how I felt. It was just part of your conversation.
That sounds like an assumption, Coach. I always ask how you feeling.
I'm just messing with you, man.
I wanted to ask about someone that you just alluded to in Jeremiah Brown. He withdrew from the portal. He's obviously going to be back to Colorado. I know you guys go way back. How excited are you for him to be back in the fold for the bowl game?
Jeremiah's like my kid, man. He's like my kid, you know. We played against him in high school. His head coach is one of my best friends, like a son to me, Corey Fuller. And Jeremiah took a chance on us, took a chance on me. And he came to Jackson, and he's always been a hard worker, always did his job, and always been just a good dude, a fisherman. We have an affection for that, which we share tremendously. And I was in Texas, you know, relaxing, praying, and trying, because I got to make some heavy decisions on kids and life and all of that. And when I saw that happen, I'm like, why didn't Jeremiah call me? He called me about everything else. He calls me every time he catches a decent-sized fish, he want to call me. And he didn't call me for that. So I knew he was being influenced by something else. So when I got back, you know, he came to the office, and I was like, you changed. Ever since you got them pretty new teeth in your mouth, you changed. You're not the same kid. And that broke the ice, and he's all like, Coach, you know I didn't want to go. I said, what we doing? What we doing? You know I love you. Boy, I love you too, Coach. And he started crying and boo-hooing, and we got it right. I don't know if it's an NCAA violation, but I gave him a fishing rod. It was laying around the office, so I really didn't give it to him. He picked it up and walked out with it. Right? It's not. He took it? Yeah. Yeah, so, right. That's NIL. Okay. NIL, collective deal. Yeah, he got some appearances to do. He's watching 3 cars. Right? That's his appearances for that. But I'm so proud that he's back because I love him. He's like a son to me. So I'm glad we got that straight. Cool.
Coach, Jeff Dressel, 9 News. You had great experiences as a player in the bowl experience for yourself in college. What do you remember about those moments, and how can you relate those moments to your team to enjoy this time?
Great question. Great questions. The thing that I remember the most about a bowl is the stuff. Like, we wanted to walk in the room, and on our bed they had a bag full of stuff, and we went through the stuff. I think it was a cassette player. You know, y'all too young for that. Y'all, you know, it's a cassette player with a little bitty headphones like that. You barely get over your ear. Just get over the little hole in your ear. Yeah, Walkman. That's what they call it, the Walkman. We had some sweatsuits, and that we wore the color off those things. I remember those garnet sweatsuits. But I loved, like, that part, and it wasn't as intense as a game, but you had to win. You wanted to win. But I can remember walking around New Orleans, man, you know, with my teammates, and seeing the stuff. I remember one of my teammates running in the hotel up the escalator with a briefcase. I'm pretty sure it stolen it. I'm pretty sure that happened. Like, man, what are you running up the escalator with a briefcase for? It don't look right. But that kid, he had that capability in him. He stole that briefcase. Just seeing that kind of stuff. I remember we played in Gator Bowl. And Jimmy Calloway, the JC that I wear on my shirt, the equipment man, he thought he was doing a brave thing and a valiant thing. And he said, all right, after the game, it's been raining and nasty. He said, everybody can keep their socks. Like, man, come on, man. Keep our socks. The socks are filthy. But that was JC, that was Calloway. And I love those moments. I never forgot those moments. But going to those several bowl games that we went to bowl game every year. It was just a moment that we never forget. And I want to have those moments for our young men as well. I don't know the schedule yet, but I do know we flying in a heck of a plane on the way there. We created that moment that they'll never forget this plane that we're getting on. So I can't wait for them to see that. Great question, man.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you. God bless. Let's get better raise, please.
All right. All right. Good morning. It's weird sitting down. I do the best I can with it.
I remind you to come here.
Yeah. I actually just got locked in the hallway. I didn't have my phone. It's like the Pentagon around here. You got to have a card to go everywhere, you know. So, anyways.
Good.
All right. Time's yours. Yeah.
Tyler King with the Denver Gazette. Just, you guys obviously have added, a quarterback from the high school ranks, and obviously, what's kind of the plan going into next season? Do you want to have a veteran that Julian can learn under? And obviously, you guys are still Brian. I mean, just what are you kind of hoping to have as competition goes throughout the offseason at that spot?
Yeah, I think we need to do our very best to get the best players in here at that position, and we want to be a little bit greedy about it. I mean, we obviously Juju's future is unbelievable, and I'm certainly very looking forward to working with him. And he's got a bright future, and we'll see how quickly that happens. But at some point here, I think we need to add another quarterback. We have a target. Maybe a guy with 1 year left, and the recruiting's going very well. So I think you might see that happen. There's been changes. I think I'm learning this for the first time. This only being my second cycle through this, but every year now you're kind of reconstructing your roster. And it happens at all positions, and especially the most key position in my mind of quarterback. And so we're going to do everything in our power to make sure we've got the best players in the best room possible to represent Colorado football.
Brian, go ahead.
Hey, Pat. Brian Howell, to the camera. You obviously, throughout your offense, I mean, there's a lot of fluctuation on the line and some injuries and things like that. But you look at it, you had the Heisman Trophy winner and the guy who was also 8th in the Heisman voting. How much fun was that to work with those guys? And is there a sense of pride for you knowing that you got to coach these guys and work with them?
Yeah, it was really an honor. I was one of the guys that didn't get a chance to go to New York because we had recruits on campus, but we were all in the hotel lobby watching it. And an event like that kind of brings a tear to your eye because on the backside of this thing, and behind the scenes, we get to see on a daily basis, how impressive Travis is. And if I was involved in the voting, there would have been 5 guys sitting there, and that 5th guy would have been second. All right, that's the way I see it. And because they're just very special people, and to be able to work with them and help them do what they do, it was great. And then there was the other visual when you had Travis with Coach Prime and Shurmur. Those are the 3 most influential people that have helped reestablish winning back here at Colorado. And so to see that visual, I thought it was a great deal.
Hey, Coach. Sports. As a play caller, what do you feel you learned or changed as the season went on, and how are you going to apply those changes towards next season?
Yeah, I think every job I've ever worked, I've learned things where I said, damn, I wish I'd have known that in my last job, right? I think that's part of growth. And by, my journey bringing me here to college, being able to play in 4 wide receiver, 4 open sets, I think is, it opened up my brain a little bit in terms of exciting stuff that you can do to move the ball. Because you can run the ball, you can throw the ball, and when you have dynamic players at all those positions, it really puts a stress on the defense. By the nature of this, and over the time we've been visiting, I've talked to you about the difference between the NFL and the college ranks. The NFL, and the college, it's really roster design, right? You have more big people. They're tighter formations. Sometimes there aren't as many yards there, aren't as many explosive plays. But having been, in fact, I was watching the Eagles play the Steelers this weekend. And there was one play where when you get tight against the Steelers, they can wallop you, right? But there was one play where I saw them in 4 open, and they ran a simple draw, and there was a lot of room in there. And so, I think it applies to both leagues, and I wish I knew more in detail about how to play that way and how to call it that way in one of my previous jobs.
Hi, Coach. Adam Tiger, 24/7 Sports. With Julian Lewis, you talked about his potential. When you evaluated him compared to other 2025 quarterback recruits? What was it that kind of made him stand above those other guys?
Well, he's highly productive. He does all the things you need to see as a quarterback. He's a great decision maker. He has a real sense of timing. He's a very accurate passer. He has a heroic nature. He has all those things you're looking for. And then as you get to know the person, you get to know the man, he really was one of those guys that you want to work with and help develop. And so, that all gives a young man a bright future. But, unlike anything else in this world, he's got to put the work in. And so if he does the things that he's done in high school and it continues to improve at this level, then he will have a bright future.
Hey, Coach. Pat Rooney, Boulder Daily Camera. I'm wondering, with Shurmur Sanders going into this last game for him, what's been the biggest area of growth for him between, maybe walking off the field at the end of last year and to this point this year?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really speak to last year too much. It was a blur. But having really been able to sink in on this year and be with them, I know that last game was very emotional for the Sanders. Being their last home game, I was really excited for Shurmur to throw 5 touchdown passes and a 52-0. If you saw me, though, I kind of came unglued. We had 1 touchdown called back on I would call it a very questionable call. I'd probably get fined, I guess. That would have given, and I'm not really into the numbers of things because we won the game, but that could have been his 6th touchdown of the game. And at that point, I guess I was trying to be a little greedy. And, so I was bummed out when it got called back. So for the people I was communicating with, I apologize for my language. But, I just have a real appreciation for the player and the person. And, man, he's got a bright future, If one of these NFL teams doesn't select him, then I think they're taking the second-best quarterback. That's just my opinion.
I want to ask you another question about Shurmur because you as the coach, in theory, you're teaching him, but I'm curious if you learned a lot from Shurmur in this last year.
I have. I've learned a great deal from him. In a lot of things, and I'll keep most of it private. But I think the big thing is even Tiger Woods needed a caddy, right? So as a coach, even Tiger Woods had to be reminded, hit the 6-iron. Well, no, please, just hit the 6-iron. And I think that's kind of the role because, he's so smart. I can call a play like we have an example where, we get an empty and we just call hitches and I'll say play with it. And then he can change all the routes and that whole play could look totally different. But I trust him to do that because he's really good at it. So I've got a great appreciation for him, and I'm looking forward to him just killing it at the next level.
Okay, last one, Rylan, go ahead.
Rylan Scholes from Rob Report. It felt like over the season we saw you guys really start to incorporate a lot more read option style stuff. Is that something that you guys are going to want to be doing going forward with Juju, or was that just?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
So read option, zone read. To your point, we have quite a few runs that have RPOs wired to it. And you saw a lot of times where the quarterback can be kind of right or mostly right. So there were a lot of times, and I think it affected our run game to some degree, where he could have handed the ball, but yet he saw the level 1C player squeeze, and then he kicked it out, where now we made maybe a more explosive play on the throw. So that's part of the college game. I really had a good time kind of designing that all up, and we're going to totally continue to do that.
Okay. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate
Good?
it.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
Wow, this is easy.
Pat serve, everybody. Pat serve.
What's up, guys?
Go ahead.
Hey, Coach Rivera with Scope of Sports. As a pretty young play caller per se, is there anyone that kind of took you under your wing or a mentor that really kind of helped you as a young coach that you could look up to?
Yeah, that's a trick question because there's a lot of them. I've talked about how blessed I've been just to be around the people in my life. Marvin Lewis, Mike Zimmer, Paul Gunther, that first phase of it, Vance Joseph in that middle phase, and then obviously when Lou came in, they've all been impactful. They're a phone call away. I'm forever indebted to all of them, and I wouldn't be here without them. So it comes from a real place of respect and gratitude for everything they've done for me.
Hey, Coach. Nikki Edwards, C Sports Report. It might just be difficult to summarize, but your first year as a defensive coordinator, what do you feel like is the most important takeaway from this year, and what do you feel like you learned about yourself personally in this new position?
How fast it goes. I'm coming from a league where, when we were done, we would still have 4 or 5 games and hopefully the playoffs. So it was a blur. It was a blast. I think you learn things about how to be a leader. Everybody's got a plan until the second day, and then you got to figure out what to do. We've talked about it at length. The level of respect I have for the staff is unparalleled. They kind of put their arms around me. We built this thing together. And the players, it's not lost on me that they took a chance on me with Coach Prime and Rick George, and they gave me a chance to come here. And the players are great. I'd go to war with those guys every day.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
As you prepare for BYU in this bowl game, their quarterback can be almost frustrating with how he extends plays.
Yeah.
How are you guys preparing for this offense?
Prayer was the first one. No, they do a great job. The quarterback's a great player. They've got a real kind of attitude they play with. Whether it's the quarterback running the ball, the backs. They've got a stable of backs, the wideouts in the open field. So it's a phenomenal challenge. It's one we're excited for. It's kind of it's our way to finish off this year. Our rallying cry is to get to 10. If I would have told everybody in here, hey, we got a chance to get to 10 wins, I don't think many people would have gone to Vegas. I would have. So I'm excited for these guys. And it's just all about the seniors. You got a group of guys that it's their last time in a Colorado jersey. And I'll do everything in my power to send them off the right way.
Hey, Coach. Brian Howell, Boulder Daily Camera. We saw Nakai go into the transfer portal this week, and so I assume you won't have him for the bowl game. But how do you adjust to things like that, and whether him or other guys go in the portal, do you almost have to treat it like injuries and just next man up type of deal?
Yeah, for sure. He's kind of welcome to college football 2024, right? These conversations are happening everywhere across the country this time of year. I appreciate Nakai, everything he did for us. He was a great player. Wish him nothing but the best. Had a great conversation. He's going to do his best for him. In the words of the great Mike Tomlin, we want volunteers, not hostages, right? So I love the group we got in that room. Coach Hilo, Coach Hart, they do a great job with the linebackers. So we'll adapt and adjust. It's next man up. They don't care who's wearing the helmet. They just see the Colorado logo. So we have a standard here. We want to play on defense, and I'm excited for those guys to get their opportunity.
Ryland Scholes from Ralphie Report. There's some really outstanding Buffaloes that this will be their last game, that you'll be coaching them. Kind of what will it be like coaching the Heisman winner and guys like Cam and Shiloh for the last time?
It's tough. It's tough. When I came on the interview, Shurmur was there, Shiloh was there, and Cam was there. And so that was like my welcome to Colorado moment. And then the second you meet Travis, you can't not love the guy, right? He's like the perfect human being. And then the other guys, Shane Cokes, we had conversations. He'd come in and talk about it. The guys that came along, BJ Green, and I'm leaving out a bunch. Levante Bentley. Is there a better version of what college football should look like than Levante Bentley? He gives us all every play. So it's tough. I'll do everything in my power to send them off the right way because they've changed my life, and I'm indebted to them.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
Jack Harlow with Buffalo's Wire. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Building off that question a little bit, how important is this game for some of your older players who are looking to put some more film out there to kind of boost their NFL draft stock?
Yeah, it's another opportunity. In a former life, when you have to evaluate these college players, the first thing you do is you look at the All-Star games. And then you look at the bowl games to see how invested they really are. In this climate, there's a lot of people not playing, whatever. That's right, wrong, or indifferent. But the guys that we have, you want to see how they finish, and then you'll kind of go to their best game. So we've had those conversations. If these guys just do what they've done all year, they should be in a good position. So you always take one more chance, and I'm excited for them.
You're up to 1,400 now. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Tyler King with the...
Hey, Tyler. There are some fast fingers in this room. I'm very, very impressed. Okay.
Coach Tyler King with the Denver Gazette. Kind of building off what you were saying about your past life evaluating guys. I mean, you were in the NFL for a long time, with one organization for a long time. Kind of, what is your first here in Boulder been like that has made you think about this as a long-term home for you and your family?
So you live in Denver? Yeah. So you drove from Denver to Boulder today? So that's the first one, right? The view where we are, it's phenomenal. We love it here. We have 4 young kids. There's no better place in the world for us. It's perfect. And obviously, I've talked about it at length, and I mean it. I love the head coach. He's changed my life, and I love the dude. So we're very happy. It's been a blast. You want to build something here. I talk about it all the time. You want to be in the beginning of the change, right? And I think that was the big thing when I took the job was don't go be a cog in the machine of something that's going to win with or without you. Be part of the change. So that's the challenge here. And again, it kind of goes back to if we can get to 10 wins, then we can get this ball rolling and hopefully get it to where it's hard to stop.
Hey, Coach, I've got 2 for you. First, you've talked a lot about Travis this year. What were the emotions like for you seeing him have the week he had last week and then the big moment on Saturday night?
A million different things, a million conversations come to mind, but just proud of him, proud of everything he's done. For him to be the player he is on the field and the person he is off the field. I mean, Travis is everything that's right with college football, everything that's right with the world in this climate, in this day and age when he could be whatever he wants to be. He's like the perfect guy. So just proud of him, proud of everything he's done, and lucky to have him in my life.
And then you guys are in a bit of a unique situation playing a conference opponent in a bowl game. You finished tied with them. They're coming here next year. How much does that kind of add to the chip on your guys' shoulder heading into this game?
I think it's just, you want to finish this thing off. Obviously, embarrassingly, I almost cried there a minute ago. That was almost really bad. So I talked about the seniors. I talked about what it means for them. And if you're a young player, I mean, you're kickstarting 2025, right? This is what you'll be evaluated on going into spring. And so it's a great way for all parties involved to have a great time in San Antonio and go get it done.
Couple more, Pat, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, Pat Graham, Associated Press.
Hey,
nice to see you. Two-parter for you. First of all, how has coaching a Heisman made you a better coach?
I'm a lot smarter when he's on the field, for sure. It's a testament to him. I mean, we talk about playing both ways, and doing it at elevation probably didn't get as much credit as you should, right, because it's different here. But just the way he sees the game, I think we've talked about it, on multiple occasions. I'll go to Trav, whether it's a TV timeout or something, and, hey, what are you seeing? What are you feeling? So his ability to feel the game is unique. It's special. Trav has called some defenses, and embarrassingly, most of them work. So it's been a phenomenal journey with him. And I'm just excited for one more.
And then the second part of that is, what's life going to be like without the Heisman Trophy winner?
Yeah, it's next man up. We talked about it a little bit with injuries and things like that. I'm not naive to the fact that there's not another Travis Hunter walking through that door. But we talked about it a lot. When your best player is your hardest worker, then you have a culture. And the things that he has left here will live on forever, right? Because he's set the culture. He's set the standard for what it is to be a Buffalo here. So just forever indebted to him, grateful that he has graced us with everything that he is. And it's our job to live up to that standard going forward.
I have a quick one real quick before. So
yep.
Production meetings, you've talked about the Baylor game at the end of the game in the last play with Travis and what happened before it.
Mm-hmm.
Will you just share that story? Because I think it's really awesome.
The Baylor one or the Nebraska one?
Nebraska one.
Oh. Okay, so we're playing Nebraska, obviously. We probably weren't going to win that one. So it's midway through the third quarter. It's 3rd and 7. They're late in the down. They come out, so we see the formation. They call a timeout, right? So it's a quick TV timeout, so I think those are a minute and a half. The defense comes over. I go to Travis, and just in general conversation, hey, Trav, what would you call here? In a former life, we're at the AFC Championship game. It's 3rd and goal on the, I want to say, 9-yard line. We TV timeout them, and I hear Lou Anarumo, again, somebody asked about, people that I look up to, go to Cheeto and say, hey, Cheeto, what do you like here? And Cheeto said Red Tampa. And so it's a version of cover 2 in the red zone. So we called it, and Pat Mahomes played Pat Mahomes. He ran around for like 15 seconds, then he fumbled. They kicked a field goal. We won in overtime. So I say, Trav, what do you like here? And he says, Tampa. And that is the furthest thing from my mind at that moment. So I said, why do you like Tampa? He said, well, the tight end's going to run a corner route, and the halfback's going to go to the flat, and I'll play in midpoint, and I'll chop them down, and we'll be off the field. So if you don't listen to Travis Hunter, then you have to reevaluate who you are as a person. So sure enough, we called Rush Tampa. They come out in the same formation. Tight end runs a corner route. Halfback goes to the flat. Travis tackles them. We're off the field. It was at that moment I realized, hey, if you're ever in doubt, look at that guy number 12 and say, hey, Travis, what do you like here? So if Travis is on our sideline, we'll have some communication. We have a very small menu on early down, so the likelihood that we're both thinking the same thing is pretty high. But that's just a testament to who he is. It's a testament to how he sees the game, what he's about. There's plenty of times where, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. But he's unique, he's special, and he'll be greatly missed.
I just want to ask follow-up to my previous question, because redshirts can play in the bowl game. So do you anticipate Jeremiah and Trevor and some other redshirts playing in the Alamo Bowl? I
think it would just be kind of situationally. Obviously it's a fluid time of year. I guess that's the politically correct thing to say. So we'll see who's out there. Maybe we got some GAs that are looking for some snaps, so maybe we can get them some. I can give you 2 downs. The first one might be okay. The second one's going to be really, really bad. But I could make 11 on a couple of those things also. Hey, sign them up. Let's go. It's like, roll the ball out. Let's go play.
Thank you, Coach.
Good. Thanks, guys.
That's a wrap, folks. Thank y'all.